Hello and welcome to another Pixel Maven project tutorial. Today's project is inspired by the latest Festive Friday challenge that is featuring Bullying Prevention Day, which is on October 7th. And actually the entire month of October is Bullying Prevention Month. And all of the items on the inspo list are designed to help you come up with creations that can help pay homage to this topic, and hopefully for you to send those cards to people that need to know that you just love them and that they are a part of your life and you're glad that they're there. So the three items that I picked were orange and blue, and then a diversity theme. And the orange and blue, the blue is actually the color of bullying prevention. So if you see people wearing lots of blue shirts on the 7th, that's why they're wearing it, maybe even blue ribbons and things like that. But I love the fact that blue and orange really don't seem like colors that should go together, but you can see that I use them perfectly in this project. And this doesn't even really have any green in it. It really is the merging of the blue and the orange to get you this awesome green shade in the center. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started with this project, and you can get on your way to making your own project for Festive Friday and link up with us. All right, so except for the Distress Oxides, everything in this card design is from Altenew, and we'll be using their Better Together stamp set. And I love the diverse themes that are in the stamp set. These are not typical sentiments that you would see. And I thought it was perfect for this challenge. So lots of great options here. We'll be using the halftone stencil, which I've used before, but I really love bringing this together by using both sides to make a really cool effect. And then a newer die set called Crystal Frames. This does coordinate with another stamp set, but we'll just be using the frames separately, this square one here. Okay, so to get started, we're going to do some stenciling, and there it is. I almost forgot my tape here. So I just need to get this stencil lined up. And I just need to make sure that I've got like the dots that I really want to see. So this is one of those where it really pays to take your time and make sure that you have everything aligned, because when we flip it over and do the other color, that's going to be really important to be able to align all of these dots and everything. Okay, so the first color I'm going to do is the Salty Ocean, and this is a fantastic bright blue, and I'm just going for tons and tons of ink to get this really, really saturated. And you can see that it just goes on super quick. And once I've got this all done in place, I will go ahead and wash my stencil, because if I flip this over and put the orange on it, we are going to have a mess on our hands. Actually, it'll turn green. It wouldn't be a bad color, but I want to have the blue and the orange separate. So now that I've got that done, let's take this apart here. And you can see what that looks like. Pretty awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and wash the stencil off, and I'll be right back. All right, now that I have the stencil completely washed and dried, I can go ahead and I'm just going to flip it around 180 degrees so I can get this in place. And basically what I'm trying to do is get the existing circles in the little spaces, like so. And they fit really well together. It just takes a little bit of patience to make sure that everything is twisted and turned the right way. There we go. Like so. Just stick it on my tape there. And now I can go ahead and add in my Spice Marmalade color. So same process. Just get this guy loaded up really well and put down that color. All right, so now that we've got that all in there, actually I should have just left those out because I'm going to need them again in a minute. Let's see what we've got. Isn't that awesome? Really, really cool pattern with those two fantastic bright colors. All right, while I'm waiting for the background panel to dry, I'm going to go ahead and do up this panel here. This is for the sentiment. So I'm going to start blending these two colors together. And I'm going to start with the spiced marmalade. And again, I'm going for deep, rich colors. So I'm really loading up the brush. And then I'll go ahead and get into the sea glass. And at this point, I really need just a little scrap here to hold on to make sure that my fingers don't get all covered. You can see that sea glass is a really, really strong color. It will come in over another color really, really fast. All right, so I have a little bit in the center here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in some more spiced marmalade to blend this area out and turn this into a really nice shade of green. And if this starts to get really dirty, I can just go ahead and clean it off. And then go back in and get some fresh. This is all going to dry just a little bit lighter than what it is. So being a little aggressive with it is okay. All right. So there we have a really, really cool sunsetty kind of look. And isn't that really amazing how you can make this orange transition or the green transition with just the orange and the blue? All right, while I'm waiting for those panels to dry, I'm just going to go ahead and take care of a little bit of assembly and some die cutting. So this is the Autumn Blaze color from Altenew. And I have this cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so this is going to fit right on the card base. And I just like to line it up in the corner, make sure that it comes straight down. And there we go. So I've got this ready to go. And then this blue sheet, this is a turquoise by Altenew. I'm going to take this square frame from the Crystal Frames set and just go ahead and run this through the die cutting machine. All right, so I got my little piece cut out here, and you can see that is super thin, but we'll be using some Nouveau glue to get this down, and I think you're really going to like the way this works. But we can go ahead and stamp this. So pop that in my stamp positioner, and I already have my stamp in there. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair in Nocturne Black to stamp that. And there we go. That looks pretty awesome. If you wanted to, you could heat emboss this with black, which would look really great, or you can just leave it flat like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and die cut this one. And I'm using the same die. And I just need this middle section, but it's easier to do this to get the correct shape cut out versus trying to get this size and make it exact. So if I just go ahead and die cut this, I will be in really good shape. All right, so we're now just down to some final assembly. So everything is dry and ready to go. Go ahead and start by adding our background panel onto the card. And this has a 1/4 inch taken off of it, so it's 4 by 5 1/4, which means it will have 1/8 of an inch around all 4 edges. So that one is on. And then the next step really is to get this guy in place. So kind of like so. And you just want to make sure that there's enough room for the little frame to go around it. So maybe I need to bump this up just a little bit more. I'll kind of leave that in place while I go ahead and adhere this down. And the reason why I'm putting the sentiment down first is because it makes it easier to then put the frame around it without having any extra gap around it. So the first time when I did my sample, I did put the frame down first, and then I kind of had to smush the frame in to go around the rest of this. But if I do it the other way around, then I just have to fit it around that piece. Now, like I said, this is super thin, so I'm going to be using this Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It is a clear drying glue, and I like it because it has a nice fine point to it. The Tombow has a fine point, but it's a little harder to control, I think. So if you have problems with the Tombow, give this Nuvo glue a try. And you don't have to have glue everywhere. We just need it kind of in the corners and in strategic places along the way. So that's should do. And if I want, I can just go ahead and dab this a little bit with my finger, and that will help keep it. It's going to keep that from oozing out, right? Now, you could also use spray adhesive, which might be the best thing for something this narrow. But if you don't have spray adhesive, there are always ways around it. Okay. So now I can just go ahead and start in one corner and get this aligned. And just bump that right up against the sentiment. There we go. See, not so hard. Beautiful. All right, so now that I've got that done, I can just go ahead and add some enamel dots. Now, if you don't have black enamel dots, you can go ahead and use one of your artist markers because they are an alcohol-based marker. They will cover these up perfectly. So I just went ahead and used black and covered those up. And then I can go ahead and add in my dots. Now, because I have a dotted background, what I like to do is kind of find spaces where I can marry 4 of the dots together. So like there was this 4 blue there, and then down here I'll do those 4 orange ones, and this last little one, that's I can put that anywhere, but I'm going to put it inside the frame here. And there we have it. So I hope you enjoyed this fun project. This is a really great masculine card, or a card for a young man in your life that might need some encouragement, whether you're a mom or a dad trying to give them encouragement, or from a friend to a friend. This is a really great way to let someone know that you care. So go ahead and make this card and send it in the mail to someone who needs to know that they are valued and that you love them. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you out at Festive Friday. Our challenge runs for 10 days, so you've got a few days left to go ahead and create a project and get it linked up with us. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, happy crafting.